Hello and welcome to the Let That Shift Go podcast. I'm Noel.
And I'm Lena.
And this is where we talk about the good, the bad, and all the shift in between.
We'll just talk mad shift.
Let's get into it. And on this week's episode, we're going to talk about the sacred in between.
Yeah, because there's a moment on the healing journey that no one really prepares you for. It's the moment when what used to fit just doesn't anymore. And maybe you've done the work, you've healed, you've grown, and suddenly you look at your career, your identity, your life, and something feels misaligned. And it doesn't mean that you're wrong. It just means that it's outdated. And the uncomfortable part is you don't know fully what's next. You just know you can't keep pretending this version of you is the final version. And so today we're talking about that in-between space, the psychological and spiritual experience of emerging, the grief of letting go, the fear of pivoting, and what happens when healing becomes more than personal, it becomes a calling. So if you've ever felt that pull towards something more aligned, maybe even stepping into the healing space professionally, but you're terrified to let go of what's stable, this one's for you. Because the in-between isn't a mistake. It's actually an initiation. So pause, and here we go. So today we have on Sergio. We have you back, like in a little bit of an update.
He's back.
And his previous episode on Let That Shift Go was really kind of more at the beginning of your healing journey.
Yeah.
Or like the beginning, middle. And it was called The Shift on Deck.
Yeah.
Right. And because Sergio is a flight nurse, and we were flight nurses together, partners in Brawley and El Centro, and, you know, doing all that. And that's how we first met. And then now we're here together with Noel and myself, and really talking about this healing journey, and something that I think all of us go through when you are realizing that maybe you have been living out of alignment. And when you're on the healing journey, discovering more things about yourself and what you actually want, you're not ticking off somebody else's to-do list. It calls you forward.
Yeah, it's kind of a restlessness or a subtle, dissatisfaction. And, I find myself like I've done so much work, and, I feel like at this point I've done all the school and it's time to take the test. Does that make sense?
Yep.
I've done the work and I've studied and studied, and now the SATs are up.
Yeah.
And I got to go do them, and I'm afraid of them. And that's kind of that part for me.
Yeah. What does it feel like? What does it feel like in your body to be doing something that maybe, I know for me, it felt like dread, even though I had a great job. It just felt like dread going to something that just I didn't want to be doing, and there was something else I wanted to be doing. For you, Sergio, what does that feel like physically?
Well, it's like it manifests in a bunch of different like ways of resistance, right? So just a bad mood, right? Maybe you're like getting up in the morning, like, here we go again, right? 51st dates, right? It's like, here we go again. Same thing's going to happen. I'm back to the coal mine, right?
Yeah.
Doing the same thing. And then it doesn't really fulfill, right? Even though at some point it did fulfill, right?
Yeah.
Because that's why you're there.
Yeah.
Right? You've been at this place or this career, and it's been fulfilling and it's been good to you in a way, right? You've been able to provide a life for your family and pay your bills and feed your ego and wear the cape and do all these things. But then at some point you're like, what's next? Right? You feel empty in certain pockets of your spirit and your soul.
Do you feel like more like you're playing a role? Because when you said 51st dates, it makes me think of like a character in a movie. And it's like, does that feel like you're just playing a role, but it's not coming from a place that you've actually discovered within yourself that feels more.
Yeah. So, like in contrast, right? Like when I first started nursing, or I decided that I wanted to be a flight nurse. Everything in my body was like, let's go get this, right? My life was planned around this. My relationship with my wife, with my kids, everything was revolved around this thing, so Dad could accomplish his dreams, right? And it was the pursuit of that was so fulfilling and gratifying, right? I didn't know that then, that the pursuit was what I wanted, but that's what it was, right? And so there comes a point where this shift is starting to happen. You start to uncover some pieces of yourself, and you're like, okay, cool. It's still paying the bills. It's still fulfilling in some areas of me, but there's these other areas that aren't fulfilled.
Yeah.
Why? Right? And it's because the shift happens, right? You uncover things about yourself, right? And for me, going through these tough self-awareness, self-exploration pieces, self-discovery, I started to really understand why I chose a career. Why I chose what I did, why I behaved and acted and carried myself the way I did in my life, in my professional career, in my personal life, with the relationship with my kids, my wife, why I did those things. I really started to understand that. And then I understood what alignment meant, right? Like, I didn't know what that meant. Like, I worked with you, and that's, I think, when you were getting into yoga and all this stuff, right? And you would say things like that. And then when I first came here, you were talking about alignment. You were talking about alignment as well. No, right? Like, and leaning in. And I thought I knew what you guys meant. And it wasn't until like I felt what it meant, right? When I really truly felt aligned for the first time, was like, oh,
That's what it feels
this
like.
is what they mean. Ooh, right? And it's like this moment of clarity that is like euphoric, right? It's very, very euphoric because you're like, life is great. Like in this moment, when you feel that piece of alignment, when things just kind of, the Legos just fall in the right place, right? It feels so freaking good, right? Like you're like, the breath is fuller, the air is cleaner,
Or like
the
colors
grass is
are brighter.
greener. Yeah, right? And it's like, whoa. And once I felt that, I couldn't help but ask, well, what is that? Right?
How do I get more of that?
And how do I spend more time there? Right? Maybe not live my life there, but like, how do I spend more time there? And so that's what I've been doing, right? Trying to figure out,
How do I spend more time there?
yeah,
But when you're moving into that space, you're having to let go of sort of the known and the stability, the safety.
yeah.
I've almost heard him say, like, it's almost like assimilating to a relationship with yourself, because it was like you were excited about the career, and that's what got you going, and everything became and went around it. But then you hit the honeymoon phase of finding your passion, and then it's like, oh, this is where it's at. And then you have to now you have to work all that process out. Is kind of what I was hearing you say, and it feels like you're at a different level.
Yeah, absolutely. So, it's all great when you decide to make take the step towards self-discovery, right? Like it's something happened in your life, and it could be maybe framed in a negative space or from a negative perspective.
Control was taken away from you.
Yeah, right. Your identity fell apart, or whatever that may be for you, right? For me, it was that I lost who I was, and I started to question everything in my life. But I had an option, or two options: succumb to those injuries, right, or say, I'm gonna make this the best thing in my life.
Never happened.
Right? And I didn't believe it then, because I was in the tunnel. I call that the tunnel, right? And so when I decided to take the step forward, I truly, truly did the work. I was like, I'm facing myself in all these places. But then there comes a time where you're like, okay, I faced all of the dark places, if you will, all the pieces of me, right? And they weren't coming from a place of poor me or
victim.
Like, oh man, life is so hard because of this. No, it's just
More like empowering.
To truly know who you are, right? That's what it really became. And so when I did that, I felt like, okay, cool. Like I've untangled all these webs, and I can make sense of my life and why I stand where I stand today. But what does that mean?
Now what?
Cool.
Now what do I do with
What
it?
do I do with this information? Right? And I felt like, ooh, okay. So then once I really started to do the work and saying, cool, I've faced myself in these places. I remember the pieces of me that got me here today. Am I proud of that, or am I disappointed in that, or what was it? Right? Well, no, I'm proud of that kid that came from wherever he came and did the things that he did, and the mistakes that he made, and the successes and everything. But now this alignment piece is also calling me. right? And so how do I go from accepting that I can close that door of my previous life and say, move into this new light,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Well, you have to accept a lot of things.
It's like an identity death.
Yeah.
So an identity death triggers anxiety because the ego wants continuity. And suddenly it doesn't feel like continuity, doesn't feel like safety. So there's this neutral zone that just feels very like floating, like I don't know, I should be doing more of this or less of this, and actually it's just kind of like the stillness zone of being able to listen.
Yeah, you know, for 40 years, I was who I was. Right? You don't just untangle that in 2 years and say like, oh, I'm a new person.
No.
Like it just doesn't happen that way. Right? So there's a lot of patience, right, that I have to have with myself. And also a lot of acceptance to let things be what they need to be. Like I know I don't control everything. And I know that now. I didn't know that 3 years ago. 3 years ago, I thought I had all my shit together.
You were under the illusion that
Yeah, right? I had full control
if I just
of my
do
environment.
this. Yeah.
Even when I'm drinking, I have control. Right? No, you don't. Like you don't have control over anything.
No.
Right?
Well, I felt like similar to the relationship analogy. Now it's you realize where you're at, and the reality is it's time to do a different kind of work into the relationship with your passion or with
yourself.
With yourself.
With
To be
a
excited
truer
about that,
version of
with
yourself.
a truer version of it.
Yeah.
That's what it really has meant for me. That's the next evolution.
Yeah, you know when I say I did the work, or the work that I'm kind of I've been more in like the last year is more about me, right? In the beginning, it was more of like discovering, like year one, right? Discovering, diving in, teasing out
Monsters and ghosts for me. Yeah.
exactly, right? Just shake the closet open, right? And then year two was like, cool, I believe in me. I finally believe in me again because I had lost that person, even before I lost my job, right? Like I turned Sergio down to fit in, to be accepted in the world that I was very respected in and all this stuff.
It was safe.
I was safe, but I still had to turn me down.
Yeah.
The real me.
Yep. I could see that.
Right.
Yep.
And so now I know that I am the asset. That I am worth investing in, that I am enough, right? And all the broken pieces, if you want to call them that. But I'm not broken. They just are who I am.
Yeah.
Right? And so once I started to really believe that, year two became about just making myself better, building myself back up. How did I do that? Well, through the work, the real work, which is fight those things that I discovered, addressing them, right? Maybe it's engaging in gratitude. Maybe it's engaging in forgiveness. Maybe it's engaging in acceptance.
Maybe it's less engaging in other things.
Yeah, maybe it's letting go of these stories, right? Letting go of the tension that I carry, the fear, the anxiety, the
beliefs that you are this archetype that must be maintained.
Exactly, right? Like, again, I wore the cape, right? I was the guy that was in the helicopter or landing on the highway saving lives, right?
The hero does this.
Yeah, and I freaking believed it. You know, like the little kid inside of me believed it, right? So it was hard to convince myself that I was something else too.
And that was safe. Yeah. It was safe to be something else.
Yeah, so I turned the other piece of me off, right? And the reality that I know now, right, the work has been in really nurturing that other side of me that can also be a hero in different ways.
Or hero to himself.
Exactly.
Not to everyone else.
I can save myself.
Yeah.
Right? And that's where it started, is when I can invest in really getting to establish a practice for me, right? You know, I did the breath work and I did all that, but I wasn't going to classes. I wasn't going to community. I wasn't doing that. I was more alone because I wanted to really find myself. I didn't want to get influenced by the outside.
Like kind of embody
Yeah.
in what you're learning and really live it. Yeah.
But when I started to take the classes, to become a practitioner, right, I did it not because that was the goal. I did it because that was I wanted to do that to have a structure for myself, right? So it didn't really start off as an investment to the end goal being a business, right? It started more for myself. Through those 2 classes, right, the 12 weeks online, I was like, oh.
And in person.
Yeah, and then later I did the in person. It was powerful, right? Because I realized that I did belong in the space and that I could see myself as a...
You had something really special to offer.
Exactly. And my life story, my experiences in my own life are valuable, not just to me, but to the older versions of me that exist out there somewhere.
Yeah.
Right. And whether I had to accept that I could turn that piece of me back on, that I could be me, loud and in your face, but also compassionate, empathetic, emotionally intelligent.
This is who you're becoming now.
Yeah.
As a result of having to.
Exactly.
Yes.
You see, I have a different perspective because, you know, like I don't have like the hero thing. I almost have, it's almost like iced tea mix, right?
Or like
I
an
have
Arnold
this-
Palmer.
Yeah, I guess like I feel I want everything to be homogenous. I feel like I want everybody to be in on it together as a community. And I think when I was listening to you, I heard myself thinking, I'm afraid to be by myself I'm afraid to not be a part of the mix and just be a singular molecule of the thing that adds flavor to what is my life. I'm very comfortable being in with a bunch of everybody.
Why? I would imagine you kind of hide in there.
Because I can hide in
blend.
there and I blend in with whatever fits. And I like to make everybody kind of feel comfortable in that way.
But if it's just you.
But right now I'm learning through solidarity what it feels like to just have Noelle as the mix. What does Noelle want? What flavor does Noelle want? You know, I had a conversation with some people at work and I was like, what flavor what spice would you be if you were a spice? You know? And this one lady was like, you're going to be tahini because you make
I was thinking I'm tahini.
You could be tahini. You make everything spicy and just that. When I see you, I get that little, thing in my mouth where, like, when you see lemon, just
You're like,
yeah, you know what I mean. And I would be MSG because it got a bad rap when it was a kid. Everybody,
but now
told you
we
it was
know
bad.
it's magic.
Yeah, but now we know it's magic.
Just enhance
makes
the
it taste
flavor
good.
of things.
Yeah. See, so I don't know. I was always kind of afraid of being just Noelle. And now I'm learning what is it to just have Noelle as the spice.
What is he?
me.
What are you bringing to whatever it is that you're interacting with?
Yeah.
What spice would you be?
I was thinking like I would be some sort of spicy pepper.
Yeah, habanero.
Nah, you're chamoy, man, because you're spicy, but you're so sweet too, dude. And you
know
stick
what?
to me. You stick to me.
I'm gonna vote with Noelle. You're chamoy.
You're chamoy.
If any of you
Who don't know what chamoy?
Hispanics out there
Oh,
know
sorry, yeah.
what chamoy is when you're a kid. It's when you do credit card to other kids and you go, chamoy?
Oh no.
I would definitely be chamoy.
Yeah, on the rim of the drink.
Yeah, so I find myself being afraid. That's what I when I was listening to you, I said, I'm afraid to just be
Just you.
that whole mix, and just be what that is for me. That's what's scariest.
Yeah, I found it. I found that before I stepped into the self-discovery stuff, I would always isolate myself. Always. I think I said that like when I was here is like it's incredibly humbling to see how lonely you are in a room full of people.
Oh yeah,
Right.
it's the worst kind of loneliness.
And I did it all the time to myself. Right. And it got so dark and so lonely, and so I would get so angry. Right. And now, like, I stand alone. Right. But not because I'm lonely. Right.
You enjoy your own company.
Because I know I'm enough. Right. And I know that when I am me, the full version of me, I know how good that feels. Right. And I know that I trust that I'm not going to be alone. Because people are going to want to be around that guy. People are going to want to learn from that person.
The right people.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Because there's a resonance.
There's no expectation there, right?
Yeah.
Like I don't expect my friends from 20, 30 or whatever years ago, right? Or my family to understand that all the time, right? They don't have to, right? But I'm me. And when they do, maybe one day understand, they're welcome. There's no judgment either, right? Like, I'm not saying like, oh, you're a bad friend because you don't understand. Not at all, right? I'm me. Like, guys, this is me.
This is it.
This is me, man. Like,
There's nothing behind the curtain.
I'm a used car, right? I'm a used car. Got some dents on it, maybe got some new tires.
You got some retread tires.
Right, yeah. But I really, that's me.
This is me.
Like, you can put a wrap on it, but I'm still me underneath that wrap. You know what I'm saying? So, like, why put the wrap on? Just be me, right? And I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
And what's been incredibly humbling throughout this journey, right, is that my kids and my wife always saw that, right? And I'm like, huh. I asked her the other day, like, what's it like to love me like you love me? Right? And she's like, what? Like, she's like, you know what? I don't know that I can put it into words. She couldn't explain it, right? And then she said something like, I think we all wonder. I'm like, no, because I've known you for a long time. What is it? She's like, if you could see yourself, you would know. That's all she said.
That's so. I'm gonna cry. I'm gonna cry.
Yeah,
because it's true. And I remember, I know we've talked about it before. When I met you, I felt like everybody else had this like explanation of, oh, if you work with him, he's going to be hard on you, or he's going to be this, or he's this. And I'm like, I mean, I see that, but I see something else that's just really true and authentic. And also there's a safety in knowing somebody's honest with you, but will support you. Like there's just so many layers. So, and I think it's true. If you could see yourself through someone else's eyes, it would be completely different, because we have a lens and a frame that we look at everything through, including ourselves. And many times that lens and that frame is so dirty and murky from our own life experience that we can't see clearly.
Yeah.
But someone else who is with you, loves you, sees you, sometimes they do see something different. So
safety and
and she didn't.
Yeah.
And she didn't have to explain it.
No.
Right. And that is the gift of attunement.
Right? Yeah.
Like, for me, that was a huge learning in this process of through the breathwork practices and just emotional stuff, right? Like,
yeah, because would you even know the word? You even use that word in a sentence?
No, to attune a guitar.
You get my alignment.
Yeah, I got my. Can I get my car attuned? Right? Like, no.
Like,
but what's funny?
Jiffy Lube.
Yeah, like all of these concepts in like specifically the breathwork courses that I took, right? None of that. The dog's snoring.
She's old.
So like, move her.
No.
Like, none of these concepts were new.
Yeah, you had heard them, but
I just didn't know what they meant. Like, none of this is like groundbreaking.
No.
Right? A lot of it is just going back to the basics of humanity and understanding and observing, right? No judgment. No, like, this is good, this is bad. This is just, hey, look, it's blue. Or, hey, it's black.
Oh.
Cool.
Yeah.
Is it good or bad? It's not. It's nothing. It is. Right? And when I really, like, took that in, I was like, oh, yeah, this is what she's doing, right? So this is what she just did. And because I can attune to her, she doesn't have to say a word to me. I can feel what she means. My nervous system is talking to her.
And it's less verbal. It's not really verbal.
No. I think, our nervous systems are talking, right? By just being energetically, they're present with each other, honestly, and all this stuff. And I got my first taste of that, like a year prior, right? With a complete stranger. I met some guy we're at this like little rinky-dink bar in Bombay Beach. And this guy's talking about some stuff at the pool table, right? And everyone's kind of laughing. And I see him from across the table, right? Like on the other end. And I'm like, Yeah.
Attuned.
And I was like, asked him like a compassionate question, right? And he opened up and more and more. And I didn't push it away. And I come around the table and the guy starts crying. And, you know, it's like two grown men, strangers.
Yeah.
And my wife's watching me do this, right? And she's like, I can see her. She's like all proud, right?
Like my baby.
Yeah. And I tell the guys like, hey, like, can I give you a hug, man? And I gave him a hug. I was like, dude, it's okay. And just by not saying so much and just being there with him, he was like, ooh, this feels good. Right.
Yeah.
And then we walked away. And that was it.
I love that.
And everybody around us was like, what just happened?
Yeah.
Don't worry.
Attunement.
You don't need to know.
It's not for you.
Yeah. And so I think that's what.
I think what your wife did, and
Yeah.
if I could sum it up, is she said, in no uncertain terms, I see you.
Yeah.
That's why I love you.
Yeah.
She sees you fully.
Yeah.
And
Just
that's
like-
it's a gift to be seen and to be heard. So, yeah. To have that support through this process is big.
Because somebody could say, he's a good provider. He works really hard.
He knows how to change a
He knows how
tire.
to change a tire. He's tough. Like if somebody messes with it, you know. But she didn't say any of that.
What she did say later was, I don't need you to protect me.
Oh, well, we know that.
Because I, you know, as these identities that we put on ourselves, right? Like I'm a provider, I'm a protector, I'm the head of the household, blah, 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 right? And she's like, I don't need you to protect me anymore. I'm not the little girl, scared girl that you met.
So now you had to let go of that like archetypal identity. It's an identity shift,
Yeah.
which the ego is very tied to.
What did that feel like? Was
Yeah.
that when she said that to you? Did it release anything to you?
I was sad
Oh, okay. So tell me why. I want to know about that.
because I felt like that was my job to protect
know.
her and my kids. And when
How dare you take that away from me?
Yeah, and when I met her, right, maybe she did need protection from certain things, but she grew up and she healed throughout the years. She went through her own struggles and really had closure.
And that's an acceptance.
But the thing is that I wasn't a part of that closure because there was things that she had to deal on her own, right? And she did, right? And even though I'm really proud of her for doing that, a little piece of me was like, I wasn't there. I wasn't there to protect her. She needed me there to hold on to or to just witness or whatever, right? And the reality is that that's just my ego telling me
And that's where
you're not good enough because you weren't her hero, right? And like, she didn't need you to be. She needed you to listen.
Because who are you if you're not the hero?
Exactly, right? And back then I didn't know that, right? And so now when she said this just recently, I had to like sit with it. I didn't even respond. I was just, okay. What does that feel like? And
Well, 'cause another thing
that's
we-
a different version of me now, right? Like it's instead of reacting and responding, preforming these sentences or whatever. No, it's okay. You said something. Let me let it land. What's that doing to me?
Now that is a whole different human being, right? Because how many of us, before we did any work, any looking at ourselves, looking at why we are the way we are, ever stopped and somebody triggered us or said something and we went, let me stop and see how that lands for me and see what's coming up? Nobody. Like until that's not even a question that seems like a possible question.
Well, I've had that said to me, and what landed for me is that it was a core wound of not feeling needed anymore. I need to feel needed. That's what it was for me.
And that's about you. That's not about the person who says
exactly. And
true.
that's all my work.
it's self-reflection. Like they're holding up a mirror to you. You need to look at why that bothered you. That's not their responsibility, actually. So, but that's them offering you growth with whether they know it or not.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, right? Like I don't react like that 100% of the time because I'm human, right? Like, and I also understand.
When don't you? When have you noticed? What's the difference? When are you less capable of?
When
being-
I'm operating out of fear, right? Because for me, fear triggers anxiety, right? And before all of this work, I never knew I was anxious. That's what because I was always in survival, right? I was always surviving.
Fight or flight.
Even when I was sleeping, I was surviving. Like I used to be the guy at the fire department. Okay, picture me being 19, married. We have our first kid, and I'm sleeping with the phone next to the bed, and I'm half asleep all the time, right? And the phone wouldn't even finish ringing, and I was up, putting my clothes on, answering the phone. Nylon Fire, what's up?
Yep.
Blah 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 blah. Respond here, do this. Awesome. Haul ass to the station. Get in the truck and be the first one on, all the time for 10 years, right? And then you fast forward. I'm already flying, sometimes doing both, and I'm always in survival.
Yep.
At the Christmas or at the
there's always a part of you
at the birthday party, looking for threats, right? At the intersection, looking for threats. At Walmart, looking for threats. In my own home, looking for threats, right? You don't realize that until you are light for the first time.
You look for blessings.
You feel the contrast.
Yeah, dude. When you the very first time when I felt like this amount of relaxation, like I was just like, ugh, right? I was like, now what?
What is this?
Where's the other shoe? Because right now it's cool. It's like when you're at the beach and there's a lull in the waves, and then the
Tsunami's coming.
The water's receding. That inhale, and it's like, oh, whoa, and then nothing happens. When nothing happens, that's the scary part for me, or has been, right?
The unknown.
Because something's supposed to happen. Because something always happens.
That's just your nervous system.
Exactly.
Being used to being in like fifth gear.
And I never really saw that, right? Until I had to do the work. And once I did the work, I was like, it's okay to be safe and relaxed, and and
this is also possible.
But I still struggle with that, right? So, so when I am in the pocket, right? When I'm good, when I am
being the pocket, I'm good.
Yeah, I'm regulated. I'm calm. I have
capacity
I'm sitting
to handle.
in gratitude, right? Yeah. I'm like satisfied. Those kind of things.
Sorry.
Dogs. That's all right.
I can really just want to pause.
No, go ahead.
No.
Okay. So when I operate out of those places, I can really be like me. But the times when I get away from that fear, right, when I'm afraid of something, that's when I get the anxious part, and that's when I can't listen.
Yeah.
Right. I can't let it land. I can't put my ego away because I'm afraid.
Yeah.
Right. And it's like this panicky fear. Right. But I didn't know that would existed before. And that's something that even today I'm still currently working through, because I don't have to be afraid all the time. Right?
Yeah.
And I'm not. It's a lot. It happens a lot less, but it still happens, right? Because I'm human. Like I can't never be afraid.
Well, I find like it's for me not having a full cup. That if I'm always walking around with a coffee filled to the brim that's just piping hot, anybody bumps me, I'm going to spill it onto myself, and I'm going to be super pissed at everybody. You know what I mean? Because I'm already brimming at the top, and I have to make room for that. And that's what breath work and self-regulation and kind of doing the work really comes in. And that's what's helped the most for me is kind of doing the daily things that leave room for me to have grace for other people's, mess.
Yeah, and that's what I found has the biggest impact. The consistent practice, right? So like, this last year, or I guess 2025, right, was, I think I talked to Lena and Mondo, and I was like, this is the year of me. Like, I'm going to learn all these things.
It's the year of the fire horse.
Right, last year. Right,
last year, okay.
And then so I was like, I'm going to do me, and I'm going to figure all these things out. So I was doing my breath work, and I was doing my journaling, and then it dwindled. I was doing it sometimes. And then I was journaling once a week, and sometimes no times a week, and then maybe 3 times a week.
It's like slipping back into.
Yeah, and I was going like back and forth, right? And so this year, I really, I got a coach, and and going through some things, and I was like, you know what? Let's establish a routine. Like he is like, just you're doing all the things. How much do you need? Right? And I'm like, I don't know. He's like, well, just do it every day. Like, you don't have to do these big things and then not do it for a week.
Oh.
Do little things every single day. Right? So, okay, let's try that. So what I've done is every single day, right? Like, I get up off the phone for the first hour, 2 hours of the morning. I get up 30 minutes to 45 minutes earlier, right? Than I usually get up, or that I have to get up. I go downstairs, drink, half a bottle of water or whatever it is. Go outside, do 100 push-ups, 100 squats. Cold. I don't warm up. I don't just go outside, do it.
You just get up earlier just so you're not rushed and all that.
Yep. So I can have time for me, the things that make me better, right? Before the world gets a chance at me, right? So then I started to do that. So 100 push-ups, 100 squats, sit in silence for 5 minutes, my gratitude practice. So I have my necklace and each bead.
Oh yeah.
I say something that I'm grateful for.
Like a rosary kind of thing.
Yeah, every single day.
I like that practice.
And
I'm gonna steal that.
Yeah, right. So it's 108 things. That's a lot of things to be grateful for every morning.
Write this down, people.
Right. So I do.
And you're looking fit too. So I gotta say, these 100 push-ups are doing well. Your
Right.
wife is happy. I know.
Oh, yeah.
She said, "Look at you. Really, just tell everybody that's what."
My middle name's Adonis.
No ego
Sergio
here.
Adonis Cardenas.
Cardenas.
Yeah, it's Spanish. No. But it's that, and then so the gratitude practice, the journaling, right, and either find some prompts or whatever, and I'll kind of get into that here in a bit, but or just free flow, right, free flow writing, right, and then do something difficult, which is the cold plunge.
Yeah.
Right. So I get in the cold plunge every single morning. So now consistently, I've been doing that for going on 40 days. Right. Consistent. I was getting the cold plunge almost every day. Right. But the other stuff, sitting in silence, the gratitude practice, my daily practice for breathwork. So the 3 minutes up regulation, 3 minutes down regulation, like that, I wasn't doing all the time.
Making room in the cup.
Yeah. And so then now I do that every day.
Got it.
Every single day.
Do you feel like this has sort of help you build the bridge between the letting go of the past you, the past version of you, and bridging into the next version of you? Like you're no longer what you were, but you're not quite what you're becoming fully yet.
Yes, I'm still the caterpillar in the cocoon.
In between.
The mullet.
You're molting.
You're a mullet.
Yeah,
You're molting.
Mulleting.
It's starting to break loose.
So this, just having a practice of not slipping back into your old ways, which then kind of leads to even just, I don't know, like a lack of motivation to continue the work and all of that, is to you now having this bridge that kind of brings you in between to help you push forward into the newer version of you. Do you feel like that's what's making the difference of being able to stay in practice? And
well, I think what it's done, it's helped me truly embody what I'm preaching.
Yeah.
Right? Because I've been talking about this for a while now, right? And everyone that I run into breathwork, right? And when I started putting these videos up online after last August, I'm like, hey, I'm going to do this. I'm going to get into breathwork and I'm going to share it with people. I started putting it online, but then it was inconsistent, like maybe once or twice a week and all this stuff, right? So what I really noticed was when I was doing some of these videos, I was like preaching to people in a sense, right? Like, hey, dude, like this is what I do, but I wasn't fully living it. But when I was living it, I was fully there, but it just wasn't all the time because my life gets in the way, and I have to let go of this identity that I had to fully step into. If you were to ask me today, when you asked me 2 years ago, who are you? Hey, Sergio, introduce yourself. Hi, guys, my name's Sergio. I'm a flight nurse and blah, 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 blah. If you were to ask me today, hey, my name's Sergio. I'm a breathwork practitioner.
Amen.
You know what I'm saying? So that's who I am. And it's not just who I am. It's what I do, right? And so I had to believe that. So once the switch clicked and earlier this year, like in January, I was like just thinking about stuff, and I was like, yeah, this is who I am.
Still it's still a lifesaver.
Yeah, well, but now the world gets to know that too, right? So when I put it out, because this is a contrast. I think you were
kind of maybe even confused about who, not confused, but in that sort of transitional state of becoming one to the other, and now you're more embodied in.
I didn't truly believe that I could do this.
You wouldn't have been
an imposter.
You wouldn't have been in that space with that man and been able to talk him down or to hold space for him in that way. Yeah. Unless you're this person.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. And so when I really kind of like started to make the shift, right, I was like, this consistent practice that I've engaged in is now, that's why I can show up like this in the world. Right. Yeah. It's a part of it, but it helps me get regulated and grounded and back to normal. Right. Like rev in the green. But what it really does, it gives me permission to believe that I can do this.
So it's like it disqualifies the doubt.
Yeah.
Because you're like, I'm living this.
Yeah, like I could be in a room full of people telling me, that doesn't work. That's stupid. That's this. That's whatever. Right?
Yeah.
Cool. I'm glad you believe that.
Yeah.
You should try it. I'm gonna change your world, buddy. Right? Like,
and I think that whole piece of imposter syndrome and really moving from one, especially when you are an expert in your field and you have to move into being a novice, it's scary. It's like it's wobbly, and so you have to get your feet under you, and you need to believe it yourself. Yeah. And there, I think that's a natural transition. You're not just going to go from expert of one thing and then immediately be the expert of. If you are, then there's probably ego involved, and it's shaky. So being able to embody the practice and live it and believe it yourself and disqualify your own doubt really is what can, transition you into that space of being able to actually help.
Yeah, and that's what that's exactly what this whole podcast is about.
Yeah.
This evolution, coming to that point.
Yeah. You're not quite what you're becoming, but you are also not what you were.
Yeah,
and it's that space.
It doesn't mean that the old version of you doesn't play a part in the new version of you, right?
It does.
So like, I'm trying to get this business off the ground. I'm like trying to market and trying to figure out where I fit in, what the niche is or whatever. And I found myself trying to mold myself into the local community and be like them, what I saw online, right? Like,
go to the Pilates studio.
Yeah, like, hey man, if you're gonna come to this event, you gotta wear matching sets for the gym. You know what I mean? Like leggings and bras and all that stuff, right? And I was like, yeah, that's what I have to do to. So I started to tailor my content to that a little bit in the sense of like
you're losing your own authenticity,
using words that tailor to that community, right? Maybe not changing who I am, but like tailoring my content to reach that audience, right? And then I sat with it for
pushing
a day.
Yourself into a box again.
Yeah, and so I was like, that's not who I am. That is not who I am, right?
It's old.
Yeah,
that's old.
The people that I'm going to help are the prior versions of me.
Exactly.
Right. So I need to talk to that kid. That kid didn't care about that. He cared about.
They won't be able to find you.
Yeah.
Unless you are being you, because otherwise you're hidden behind something that isn't.
That kid cared about raw, authentic content, like punchy in your face, you, like the real you. You didn't care that you were like have this front because you were selling T-shirts. No, what he cares about is, oh shit, that told me something about myself that I didn't know.
Yeah.
Right. And so now that I've done that, right, because I also let go of this trying to fit into a box, but also let go a little bit of control of like, things have to be perfect. Things have to be like this. Things have to be like that.
Yeah.
I've let go of that.
That will put you into paralysis.
Yeah. And because of this practice, right, this morning stuff, I've let go of a lot of that. Because the consistency is the chase, is the reward. So when you are trying to lose weight, but you get to your certain goal weight, that doesn't make you happy.
No.
The chase did. The journey there is what made you happy.
Who you became on the journey.
And you learn so many things on that journey, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's the same thing with this, right? Like, hey, I've arrived. I'm healed. No, you're not. Like, there's the next iteration of you.
It makes me think of like, remember I talked about like how growing up, it was modeled in our lives as if taking care of ourselves or self-love was like a chore, like brush your teeth, take a shower.
Oh, yeah.
You know, do these things that actually are self-love. They became chores for us. And I see it in a way that your battle is to make those things not be a chore, but to be self-love, you know, to be things
Something
that are
you
your
welcome.
daily practice that build, you know, space in you with capacity to handle
Good
your
point.
daily emotions and
Good point.
move forward through your day. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
like not everything has to be a sacrifice.
No.
Right.
Or a struggle. Or it has to be hard. I have to be like completely burnt out in order for me to feel like I'm doing enough.
And once you step into your own shoes, the world sees you.
It starts to align.
Correct, right?
Different. Also, when you're in a gratitude practice, your brain is focusing on what's going right. So when you're done with that practice and you're going about your life and you started it with that, your brain is still practicing on what's going right.
Yeah.
So it recognizes it much more quickly.
Yeah, you feel like the Lego movie. Everything is awesome. Like literally everything is great.
Yeah.
Yep, it's all working out in my favor instead of, you know.
Like the reality is like, no, not everything is great, but everything is great.
It is, because even when it's not great, it's for a reason.
Correct.
Like, there's something.
Right.
There's like a nugget.
But, and that's what I mean, right? Like there's no like the struggles are a part of life.
Yeah.
Right? They're a part of life, but they're there for a reason. They're not
part
there
of it.
to
Part of the script.
Yeah, you know, it's the spice.
Yeah.
Yeah. The chamoy,
The tahine.
the MSG, monosodium glutamate.
Yeah.
So I would say the point of this episode, and you guys
Okay.
can chime in, is for the person who is kind of, you know, walking into that space of healing. And maybe they're at that place where it's like, all right, I've done a lot of self-discovery. I've discovered a lot of things about whose to-do list I was checking off and what actually works for me. And looking back at the life that I may have built based on untruths, right? And so now I'm trying to build something that is more based in alignment with who I am authentically. But it's kind of scary because my safety has been tied to the latter or the previous version. So being able to, one, just know it's completely normal.
Yeah.
Like it's not, you know, you're going to burn it all down and then the next day it's all going to be fine. It is definitely a process. And I think that's also part of the journey and a necessary part of the journey. But to know you're not alone.
Yeah.
Right. And that you can use tools like Sergio, you're saying about just being a disciple of yourself.
Yeah.
And being able to have a practice that gets you up every day, that keeps you accountable to yourself, keeps your brain trained in a way to look for what's going right, starts to have all of these synchronicities start to show up. I know a lot of things that you've shared with me that will be coming soon that we'll talk about more. When you're showing up for it, it shows up for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Right. And it's funny because you don't have to be like a wellness expert to know this stuff, right?
No.
Like if you've ever, at least when I got in touch with this coach and we started this morning routine deal, right? None of it was groundbreaking.
No.
These are all pieces of things that I used to do before. Like when we ran the gym, right? We got up early. We ate right. We had time for ourselves. We went to the gym. We did
It's like a
everything.
reminder.
The gym was the
Accountability.
priority.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it was like everything revolved around being that, right? And so there was a lot of lessons there. Like if you want to get strong, there's only one way to do it. You can't like cheat your way to it, right? Even if you use the steroids, you still got to do the work. You still got to squat. You still got to bench. You still got to do whatever, right? And so, when we were in it, like we got strong, right? Like I got strong. How did I do that? Consistent practice, right? I forgot that piece because I was so involved in, life sucks and blah, 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 blah. And I left the gym and COVID happened and death happened and all these things happened. And then I lose my job and blah, So next thing you know, it's like, it's been 5 years. What the hell happened? And so now getting to this practice, it's like, that makes sense.
Same principles apply. Now he's just a different focus.
Yeah. Now
Or a different.
the strength is somewhere else, right? Don't get me wrong. I still want to get strong. I still want to maintain that. I still want to be functional and all these things. which are a piece of the entire picture, right? But the self, the learning, the journey, the wellness, the mindset, the perspective, the joy, the sadness, the challenges, how you show up for all of that starts from the morning, starts from the routine, starts from the practice that involves you.
How you show up for yourself in small ways
Yeah.
is how you show up for yourself in the big ways.
Yeah. Because the challenge isn't when things are going great. The challenge is when things are challenging.
Yeah.
Right? And they don't have to be horrible, but they're just questions. Are you ready to show up and do the things that you said you were going to do?
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. All right. Well, in closing, also tell us where they can find you.
Oh, yeah. So, Mictlan Journey Somatics. Or that's my website. You can get me there. You can get me on Instagram at mictlan.journey. Yeah. And I'm over TikTok. Same thing. Yeah.
Check him out.
We'll have some links at the bottom of the show. But in closing, I just want to say this to the people who are listening. If you are in the in-between right now, you're questioning everything, doubting yourself, wondering if this crazy wanting for something more aligned, hear this. Growth rarely feels stable. It feels uncertain. And the version of you that built your current life did its job. It kept you safe. But you are allowed to evolve beyond the identity that once protected you. You don't pivot because you're lost. You pivot because you become more honest. The in-between isn't a breakdown. It's a threshold. And sometimes the bravest thing you can do is just let that shift go.
Yep.
All right. That's been another episode of Let That Shift Go podcast. I'm Noel.
And I'm Lena. Let us know what your questions are, and we'd love to use them on a future episode. Or check us out on Insta at Let That Shift Go, or visit our website, serenitycovetemecula.com.